Good afternoon, students. Welcome back to your social science class. As we have already started with the chapter Federalism, we are going to continue with the same today also. Okay. So in my last video, I have already discussed about the features of federalism. I have gave you an idea about the difference between a unitary government and a federal government. I have also told you the difference between a coming together federation and holding together federation. Now, while I was discussing about the coming together federation and holding together federation, I have told you that India falls within the federal holding together federation. Okay. Now, how does India become a federal country, or what features makes India a federal country? See students, I told you last day that a country where power is divided among the central authority and the different various constituent units, that is called a federal government. Okay. Now in India we have two government. One is central government, the other is state government. If you think very minutely, you will get to know that we are under the rule of central government, as well as we need to follow the instructions of state government also. Now, how does the government makes its laws and policies? Now, see students, there are three lists. First is union list. Second is state list. Third is concurrent list. Okay, what are the three lists? First is union list, second is state list, third is concurrent list. Okay, now what is union list? The list that deals with national matters or international matters, that are called union list. Now, central government of our country, it works according to this union list. Okay, for example, for union list, I am giving you the example: banking, rail, defense, then communication. Okay, all this, it comes under banking, rail, defense, communication, foreign affairs, right? Foreign affairs. This all comes under the union list, and the central government deals with the union list. It works according to the laws that are mentioned in the union list, or it makes laws according by following this union list. Next comes your state list. Now, state list, what does state list means? The state government works according to this particular list, or you can say that the state government works according to the state list, or the local government also works according to the state list only. Okay, now this under this state list comes your trade and commerce, agriculture, police. Okay, all these things comes under the state list. So next comes your concurrent list. Now see students, the concurrent list is utilized by both the union government as well as by the central government. Now this concurrent list, it consists of certain residuary matters, and both the government, it works according to this concurrent list. Okay. Now, how is federalism or how is federation practiced in India? See students, when India got independence in the year 1947, during that time there were just princely states. Okay, there was, nowadays at present we are having 29 states, but during that time there was no existence of 29 states. Okay, there were few princely states. Okay, and after the partition of India, though India and Pakistan, both the countries had to witness a lot of bloodshed during that partition of India. Okay, so people migrated from India to Pakistan, and people again came from Pakistan to India also. Okay, so as a result, people living in their own territory did not share a bonding between them because of their cultural differences, or you can say their language differences. Okay, so during that time the government, it decided to form a reorganization commission. Okay, and after that 1947, the states were divided according to the common language of the people. Okay, according to the language of the people, or you can say on the linguistic basis, the states were divided. Okay, and later on the reorganization commission, it reformed several states, and the princely states were divided, and several new small states were also formed. Okay, so after that division of the states, apart from Hindi was definitely considered as a national language of India, but apart from that Hindi, we are having 21 other language which has been recognized as by the government of our country. Okay, what did I say? Apart from your Hindi, we have also recognized 21 other language as the language of our country. Okay, so when anyone is appearing for the government exam of any government service, apart from getting question in Hindi, he or she can opt for any other language also. See students, restructuring the relationship between center and state government, or central and state government, has strengthened the federalism in India. Somewhere it has strengthened the federalism in India. Okay, though previously when India got independence, there was only one political party, that was the INC, or the Indian National Congress, which dominated over India for few decades. But later on, after the 1990s, it gave rise to several other political parties. Now nearly at present there are around 750 political parties in India. It's an approximate number that I told you. Now that somewhere this center-state relationship and this federalism became one of the major reasons which gave to the rise of coalition government. What do you mean by coalition government? When no single party gets a majority or does not achieve the magic number in the election, that is called and it joins hand with different other political party with sharing similar ideology, that is called a coalition government. Okay, what did I say? I'm repeating it once again, that when a single political party does not achieve majority in the parliament and it had to join hand with two or more political parties and sharing similar ideology, and it has to form a government, during that time it is called a coalition government. How does it happen? I'm showing you. See, $50, $100, $150, $200. Okay, so this is the magic number that the political party will have to achieve to form the government. Okay, now political party A, it gets 100 vote. Political party B, it gets approximately 90 vote. Okay, political party C, it gets your approximately 50 vote. Okay, and political party D, it gets around 75 vote. Okay, but none of this political party gets 200 vote. So none of them forms a majority in the Lok Sabha or in the parliament. Then what happens? See, who gets the maximum vote here? Political party A gets maximum vote here. Now, political party A will get an option to form the government. Now, suppose if political party A and political party B has a difference in ideology, then what will happen? The political party A will never try to form a government with B. Okay, if they are having differences in opinion, they will never be united. They will never try to form government with each other. So, political party is nowhere. Its option is gone. Next, political party A will move on to political party C. Okay, it will give a chance to political party C. It will ask party C to join hand with political party A. Now, if political party C agrees to form a government with it, then it will join the A. Okay. So, it gets 50 votes. So, as a result, it becomes 150 vote. Okay. C joins A. Okay. So, still it does not reaches the magic number, that is 200. So, what will A do? Again, it will make a try for D. Sorry. It will again make a try for D. Okay. So, D also agrees. Okay. And they all joins together and see, they achieves the magic number. Okay. So, this is how they forms the coalition government. Coalition government. Okay. So, now various questions might be coming in your mind that why did C and D agree to join hand with political party A? My dear students, this political party C and political party D has certain reason why they join hand with A, because A is the majority party and C and D has it in their mind that if they agrees to join hand with A, then they will get a chance to form the government. Their representatives will also become a member of the parliament. They will also get a seat in the parliament. For that reason, they agrees to join hand with A. But as political party B's opinion is exactly opposite to A, they will never agree to join hand with A. Okay, so this is how a coalition government is formed. Okay, now next comes your decentralization. So, what is decentralization? When power is taken away from the from the union government and from the state government, and when it is shared with the local government, that is called decentralization. Okay, now what are the factors which makes decentralization very strong in India? Okay, the factors which makes decentralization very strong in India are: first is, it is constitutionally mandatory. It is constitutionally mandatory to hold election at the local level also. At the local level also. Now, this our government took up the initiative of decentralization basically after the year 1992. This initiative for decentralization was taken up, and according to this feature of decentralization, it became constitutionally mandatory for the government to hold election at the local level also. Not only that, at the local level, seats are also reserved for the SC and STs. Seats are also reserved for SCs and STs at the local level. Okay, now not only this, in fact, 1/3 of the seats are reserved are also reserved for women at the local level. Okay, so this is the third feature which makes decentralization possible in India. Next is, the state government or the central government, the union or the state has to share its revenue also with the local government. Okay, so the union and the state government has to share its revenue with the local government also. Next comes Last feature is an independent election commission has been also adopted to conduct election. See students, just to avoid biasness and avoid partiality, the an independent election commission is also adopted for conducting election at the local level also. So these are the steps that has been taken up to make decentralization possible in India. Okay, so that is the end of your chapter, and in next day or I will be giving you a PDF of question answers. Okay, thank you.